We've arrived at the end of August, and so like we always do, let's go through everything that happened in the world of photography and video in the month of August 2023. Now, of course, in the summer, it can get a little bit slower, not quite so much going on, not loads and loads of releases, although we're coming into that time of year where that really starts to pick up again, and we get all kinds of crazy stuff. But there's certainly been some things happening in August for us to talk about. There's been some new releases. We're going to talk about tutorials. We're going to talk about a bunch of other stuff that's been going on as well. Let's start off where we always do, which is with the new products that came out in August. Now, really, there's a fairly small selection of products that came out in August, but they're still pretty interesting, pretty exciting stuff. And mostly we're going to be talking about Sony. So we had 3 new products. We had the A7C II, the A7C R, and the new 16-35 f2.8 G Master lens Mark II. Now, all of those are actually a new version of a previously existing model. The A7C II improves and upgrades from the A7C, which came out, I think, in 2020. It's quite significantly improved as well, both in terms of photo and video. It performs very, very well. It might be one of the kind of best travel options that you could go for, especially if you're looking for a full frame camera. In fact, it feels a lot like an APS-C camera in the hands, but with the power of a full frame sensor. And then you've got the A7C R, which is a very nice high resolution option in that A7C body. So 61 megapixels, great video specs as well, and really tailored if you want a little bit more of a photography experience, if you want to lean more towards the photo rather than video side of things. That's a great option as well. And then the new 16-35 f2.8 G Master Mark II lens really does improve on the original, really rounds out that trio of f2.8 zoom lenses, because of course we saw the Mark II version of the 24-70 and the 70-200s. That really kind of finishes that off very nicely. Elsewhere though, we had all kinds of different tutorials this month on the channel. So we looked at the new generative expand within Photoshop, which kind of really just expands a little bit on the generative fill we looked at before, but it's a very, very easy way of cropping outwards. So if you want to make your photos a little bit bigger, it's even easier to use the new AI tools to actually help with that. We had 5 landscape tips to help you improve your landscape photography, 3 portrait tips to help you improve your portrait photography, including really focusing on the actual interaction and the relationship between you and the subject, really breaking the ice, really getting everyone comfortable and just making it a better experience for everyone, which ends up getting better photos. And of course, revisiting old photos and maybe re-editing them a few years later. And talking of revisiting, we also took a look at the Canon EOS R. If you can believe it, it's been 5 years since that camera originally came out. So we grabbed one from our used department and we really saw, how does this camera hold up in 2023? And it's an interesting question because from a photo side of things, I actually really like using that camera. I think the low light capabilities are just amazing. I think the sensor is actually really nice. The images look fantastic. The video side of things doesn't hold up quite so well. And you can tell the difference with things like autofocus from a camera like the EOS R, which of course came out 5 years ago, versus something like the R5 or the R6 II or even the R7. But it is 5 years old and it's still a very capable camera. And like I say, as a photo camera, I was out taking a lot of portraits, doing a bit of landscape. That is a really nice camera to use. And it still ranks very highly for me, specifically for low light stuff. You can check that out over in our used department. You can check out all kinds of stuff actually in our used department. Otherwise, we are heading now into September, and that brings its own set of exciting things with it. This is typically the time of year where it starts getting a little bit busier, starts getting a few more product announcements, product releases. I'm sure we'll see all kinds of exciting stuff. We're starting to head towards autumn now. We're not quite there with the leaves changing colors, but it's coming and I'm excited about that. And in September, we also have our Wildlife Day in our Burgess Hill store. You can see details of that over on our website. I'll pop a link in the description so you can go and check that out. I'm gonna be trying to make the most of the kind of sunset evenings that we're gonna have through September. Hopefully be able to get a few of those, both in terms of landscape, maybe a bit of portrait stuff as well. I've been really getting into that recently. Before we start thinking about autumn. And then it's all about those colors, those leaves, getting out there, getting the right light. I'm excited about that. I'd love to know what you want to be shooting in September. What are you looking forward to? Have you got anything planned? Are you going to see how it goes? Are you going to use the last of those kind of end of summer sunsets that I was talking about? Or are you just excited now for autumn? I would understand. I would understand if you are. Let me know in the comments. Of course, there's a link to all the stuff that we've talked about in this video down in the description, so you can go check out the new products, the tutorials, all kinds of stuff down there. I will see you in the next video, but until then, as always, thanks for watching.